how do we handle homeschooling critiques? That is a great question. I personally believe that most people out there have great intentions. They do not have evil intentions. They have, just asking out of curiosity, not because they want to question us or like just talk down to us or anything like that. I really believe they're asking because they want to understand. Because most of us, it's not a reality. For me, for example, like I went to public school. So when the first time I've heard about homeschooling, all of these questions came to mind. Like, I was just like, okay, well, what about going back to school? Like, do you have to have a teaching degree? Like, what about the curriculum? How do you know what to teach? And like, you're not a teacher. Like, all of these things that I had come to mind. So I can only imagine somebody who's similarly to me and like back then, who hasn't heard about homeschooling before, how much more foreign that is of a concept for them. And so when I chose to change my perspective around that, I became less defensive. And now I get super excited when people ask me about homeschooling, because to me, it's an opportunity to share about Christ. It's an opportunity to share about how homeschooling is so amazing, and how it's impacted our life immensely. And so it's such a blessing for us. And so to me, it goes hand in hand with like the importance of knowing our why, because when we know our why, it is so simple to talk about that. It is so, like, we're so rooted in our convictions that it doesn't matter what people say. And so for Micah and I, we firmly believe that God wants us to do that. And that is the main reason why we homeschool. There's obviously tons of other reasons why we choose to homeschool, but the main reason is because we feel like God wants us to homeschool our girls. And so knowing that, it doesn't matter what people say. I really don't care, to be honest. Like, they can question me, they can say bad things. It doesn't matter. I am not seeking their approval or anybody else's approval. I'm seeking God's approval. And so for you, it may not be faith-based. It may be more because of bullying or special needs or just value-based or whatever that may be. Once we know the reason why we're homeschooling and choosing this homeschool and seeing the value of that, then nothing else matters, because we know the truth. And so, yeah, also, like, Mike and I are great at setting boundaries. And so I feel like people haven't really questioned us, like in like, like sometimes like some conversations come in and we're like, okay, like, where is this going? And so, but when that happens, when I sense that people are questioning us or like just trying to, like, whatever, I will call that out kindly. If that's the thing, I would just see like something like, okay, what do you mean? Or what are you trying to say exactly? And just allowing them to share, because first, I may have completely misunderstood their intentions. And obviously, I'm not to judge their intentions. Like, who am I to do that? And so I may have misunderstood their intentions. So tell me what you were trying to say. And the other thing is, like, it allows them to go to realize what they're saying and to go like, oh, okay, well, that sounded rude or like whatever. And so to Mike and I, like, again, we're just so excited about homeschooling. We're so rooted, and people, I think they sense that. And so we haven't had critiques. I actually don't think that we've had any big critiques. Like, people may have asked, like, okay, but what about like the teaching degree, or what about like the curriculum, or what about socialization? And again, like, those are people that I had kind of known, or like we've talked to like at least once or something, and like a mom's at the playground that I meet or whatever. And so I really believe that it's just they are being like curious. But outside of that, like, I don't think that there was any time that they would have asked like on a like not kind way. And because a lot of it is we're also seeing the fruits in the girls. And so I talk about that as well. So our oldest is 7. And so we've been homeschooling for 2 years now. And so she's 7. Technically, in the education system, she should be in grade 2. We just finished grade 2 material in French, English, and math in December. And we just finished grade 3 material, same subjects, just now, like we're April. And so I think she's doing okay. Like, I don't think that she's behind. And I don't think that it's because she's so special and so like awesome and intelligent and whatever. I think she's just eager. I think she just loves learning, and she just reads everything she finds because she's so excited, and because she's allowed to explore and learn about new things and just, yeah. And so, seeing that, I'm like, okay, I think we're doing okay. Like it's, like we're not screwing up our children. And that was one of my concerns, like I was telling Micah, I'm like, okay, but we need to make sure that we're doing all of these things. And he's like, okay, relax. Micah was homeschooled until grade 9. So he's like always been homeschooled essentially. Whereas for me, I've gone to public school like my entire life. I do not know what homeschooling is. And I'm learning in the same time than the girls essentially. And a lot of the things that I would do in the beginning, I would, like most homeschoolers for the first time, we try to recreate a school at home. And Micah was like, I don't think you need to do all of this. And so, and then just for our example, like our 5-year-old, she technically should be in kindergarten, but we're in her first grade material, like we're French, English, and math again. And so it almost done her first grade. And so we are following their lead, and we're following how excited they are. Like sometimes they want to do 5 lessons, and I'm like, okay, we need to stop homeschooling. And to be honest, we don't homeschool all day, every day. We do a 3-day a week, like an hour and a half a day. And they get so excited, and they do homeschooling by themselves in their own peace and quiet sometimes. And that blows my mind because I never liked school the way they do. And so, and again, I don't think it's because of the schooling necessarily. I think it's because of the love of learning. And they don't see that as being imposed and having to go to school like I did. And so, yeah, I think that, when we share about the fruits of our children, it is very clear. Or if this is the first time that we're homeschooling, maybe sharing somebody else's fruits. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just being so rooted in our beliefs of why we're choosing to homeschool. It's enough. Like people see your excitement, and they're excited for us after that. They're walking away, whether they agree with us or not, they see our excitement. And so they are a little bit more open, I believe. And I had read this quote the other day that talked about don't question your ability to homeschool your child. Question the education. Don't question your ability to homeschool your child. Question putting your child into the same system that lets you feeling incapable of teaching your 6-year-old. And I thought that was such a great quote of like just exactly that. Like I felt so not capable, and I felt so not like I'm not a loving mom. I'm not like all these bad things all these bad thoughts that we have. And at the end of the day, it's just the system. Like how come we are questioning ourselves of teaching our children like elementary school stuff? Like this is like basic additions, basic subtraction, like just basic writing sentences. Like how are we questioning that ability? And I would say things like, I'm not a loving mom, I'm not a patient mom, I'm not like all these things, like I've never been homeschooled, like I don't know what to do, and like all of these negative thoughts that we've had. And so if all you need today, it's encouragement, I will be the one today to let you know that you are doing the right thing, and you are doing what God has called you to do, because the other people may not understand, because God has not given them the same vision that He's given you.